Reading for pleasure is falling out of favor. So things aren't bad enough for writers, for us? Our audience is shrinking according to a new study. But we shouldn't have to worry about this too. Writers are supposed to do everything from penning thousands of words into cogent stories, to battling with AI pirates who steal those very words, to marketing our books when we hate it and have no talent for it, to fighting off the rapidly multiplying scammers and shaking the trees for readers. On top of all that, we are expected to be witty raconteurs at speaking engagements. And believe it or not, some of us are shy. Now, many outlets are reporting that reading for pleasure is down by 40% over the last 20 years. It's one thing to believe that we can beat the odds, we can make it over the hurdles and detours and be successful, but the odds are more and more skewed against us. Can we make sense of it? Let's talk. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Ellen Byerrum, a mystery writer and author of The Crime of Fashion Mysteries, as well as my more recent Art Deco mysteries featuring Esme de la Foret and Graydon Chase. I also write plays, short stories, and the occasional children's book, though not nearly as often as I'd like. I comment on the day-to-day concerns we have about writing, and I do not offer quick fixes or the 10 things you gotta know to write a bestseller, because really some things are up to fate and chance and lightning in a bottle. And even traditional publishers testified in an antitrust case several years ago. They had no idea what creates a bestseller. I guess that's why they throw money at celebrities whose books don't sell well, and they ignore the workhorses of the mid-list, the writers. By the way, those publishers sounded like utter fools who were lying. If my take on writing sounds interesting to you and you see this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel. I also post on Facebook and other places when I manage to remember that. Thank you. And remember that I appreciate each and every one of you and every comment you leave. To be perfectly frank, there are a lot of things against the writer wherein it is practically impossible to get eyes on our work. In my case, mystery fiction. So let's talk about this latest study on reading. According to the New York Times, quote, researchers from University College London and the University of Florida examined national data from 2003 to 2023 and found that the share of people who reported reading for pleasure on any given day fell to 16% in 2023 from a peak of 28% in 2004, a drop of about 40%. It declined around 3% each year over those 2 decades. The article noted that the study defined reading broadly, not just books. It included magazines and newspapers in print, either electronic or audio as well. Is there hope for pleasure reading? Will it die? It reminds me of a class I took in high school in drama. We were told that the death of the theater had been predicted for centuries. And yes, there have been highs and lows in theater, but it never died. Theater is still here, whether it is on Broadway or in small black box theaters and humble storefronts. It keeps coming back in new and inspiring ways. People study plays in high schools, they act in them everywhere. So it is with books and reading. I pray it will not die. If you want to be smart and make more money, you'll make time for reading for pleasure. Also quoting the New York Times, the findings showed significant demographic disparities among those who read for pleasure. For example, in 2023, the most highly educated people were more than twice as likely to read as the least educated, and high-income people were about 1.5 times as likely to read as low-income people. And all I can say is maybe they don't have the money for books, so we should give them books. Those disparities widened over time. So is there an answer? These are my thoughts. Do we make reading more glamorous, more exclusive, more cool? At the very least, we should be giving books as gifts to everybody we know. And one thing is for certain, reading should be introduced to children very early. every day, starting when they are babies and toddlers. They will love books. They will want books, and they will return to them even after a lull of not reading. Stories introduce children and others to a variety of people and places that they would never otherwise encounter. I once went to a conference on writing children's books where a children's book editor from New York City talked about how much she tried to cut words out of books for kids. She seemed to hate words and favor illustrations. Then she went on and on about how much she hated rhyming books. Uh-oh. And she described the process of publishing one of those books that she had eviscerated as taking 4 years or more, and which sounded to me like a complete torture for the writer. Well, that's when I knew I had to publish my children's book independently. And incidentally, shortly after that conference, I ran into a woman who had 2 little kids, 2 little boys, and she told me that, she just hated books with very few words. And her heart sank. She would go to the library, she would get a pile of books to read to the kids every night, and she'd open one, and if there were no words, she would have to make up a story for her kids because they wanted a story. So come on, New York editor, what are you talking about? Children love books. They love rhymes, and they love learning new words. Now, my book, Sherlock Holmes, 8 Arms of the Law, rhymes, and it includes definitions of words children may not have heard, also in rhyme, such as: a mystery is something we don't know, like who took my book and where did it go? And this one, my favorite, I think: a herring is a fish that's silver or blue. A herring that's red can never be true. Don't chase a red herring, it's an untrue clue. That editor would have hated it. It has a lot of rhymes and a lot of words. So, why else don't we read as much? There are a lot of things to blame. We are always on our computers and our phones. Social media steals our time, along with television and video games and the ever-present political discourse. It may even steal our souls. Sitting and scrolling is way too prevalent and addicting. If we never look up, we miss a lot of life happening out there. We should reach for a book instead. As writers, we need to read or lose our edge. And I think there's simply too much noise out there. We need the quietude to think our thoughts and write our words so that our books are unput-downable, so that our readers anxiously await our next publication. We need to take a breath, and I'm going to do that right now. That's all I have for today, and I will see you next time. Bye.